Hey kids, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Amanda. Today I want to talk about something a little bit controversial. We are going to be talking about bootlegs on Broadway. For those of you that don't know what a bootleg is, just to give a brief overview, a bootleg is essentially a copy of the play in video form that one takes from the audience either on a cell phone or an actual video camera, though I don't know how you would get away with having a legit video camera in the audience during a Broadway show. But essentially, bootleggers will record the show from the audience and then either upload it onto the internet or they will put them on DVDs. Now, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear. I am not okay with people selling bootleg copies of shows, nor have I ever been that asshole that sits in the audience with my phone or video camera trying to record the show. First of all, that's not your creative content. It's not your product to sell. It's just not cool. It's not cool. Moreover, if I'm gonna go to a show, I am going there for the live performance. I am going to see a show. I don't want to be staring at it through a phone screen to make sure that I'm getting everybody in frame. No, thank you. I am going there to watch the show and have the experience in real time. However, I will also admit that I will watch the absolute shit out of a bootleg, especially if it's a show that has since closed and I don't have an opportunity to go and watch it, or it's a show that was well before my time, or if it's a show that I've just recently learned about that has been closed for years. The reasons that bootlegs are so controversial is a couple of things. First of all, it is incredibly distracting for the actors to have someone sitting in the audience pointing a camera at them. And if you don't think they see you, trust me, they see you. There's actually footage on YouTube, I think it's just audio, where Patti LuPone stopped a show in the middle of it and literally stopped the band. She was like, no, stop. And she pointed to a guy in the audience and told him to put his fucking camera down because she was trying to perform. And if he wasn't going to experience the performance, then he needed to get the fuck on. Good for her, man. I mean, I get it. It's a really rude thing to do, to sit in the audience with a camera and just recording something that isn't yours to record. Bootlegs are also frowned upon because of the fact that people, for some reason in the Broadway world, believe that if someone has a recording of a show, that they won't go see the show in person, which is simply not true. Moreover, it's stealing intellectual property. It's stealing creative content. This is not your show to be selling. This is not your show to be recording. I get it. You want to memorialize your experience at the performance forevermore. But guys, it's just not okay. However, bootlegs are still in high demand because Broadway will not budge when it comes to making their own recordings of a live show. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. Should Broadway make their own recordings of shows to avoid people selling bootlegs? I say yes. A lot of fans of Broadway don't even live in New York. They are fans of Broadway because they're fans of the actors on Broadway. Take, for example, me. I live in the Midwest. I cannot always get out to New York to go see a show. Sometimes I can get out to Chicago, but not all shows come to Chicago. So for some shows, I do have to miss them, and it sucks. I mean, I buy the soundtrack, but it sucks because I want to see the performance. I think the fear, not even the fear, just their excuse, because it is an excuse, their excuse for not recording their shows themselves and selling them is that if they did so, people would not come to see the live performances. I beg to differ. I think about 99% of the human population will always choose the live performance over a recorded performance. That's like saying, well, we can't record a CD because if we record a CD and release that, then nobody's gonna come to the concert. Of course they will. Now, I know in order to do this, it's a completely different contract from that of the one that the actors and crew sign for the live performances. Recording a performance, that's a whole separate contract. They would probably have to hire their own camera crew. But I'm pretty sure they do that anyway, because most of the Broadway shows that go on Broadway are in the archives at the New York Public Library. So I just don't understand why you can't mass distribute that. Not everybody can go to the New York Public Library. You can't take the shows home and watch them. You have to watch them at the library. So pretty much if you want to watch a Broadway show that is no longer running, that is in the archive, you have to finance a trip to New York. You have to finance your stay in New York, go to the library, and set aside a good 2.5 hours, however long the show is, to watch a Broadway show when you could have just gone to Broadway and watched a live performance. I mean, do you understand where I'm coming from here, guys? Do you understand? So yes, while I understand that it is rude to sit in an audience and record a performance, I do understand why people are willing to watch those recordings. I will never understand why they would pay for said recordings. I would never pay for a bootleg copy of anything. I wouldn't pay for a bootleg copy of a commercial, let alone an entire Broadway show. That's just an asshole move. These people work hard to put on an amazing show night after night after night. And the cool thing about Broadway is that, or any stage show really, is that even though you're getting the same performance night after night after night, they're performing the same show, it's not ever the same performance. You're not going to have the same experience on, a Tuesday night that you would on a Saturday matinee. So going to see the show live is always going to be the better option, and it's always going to be the preferred option. Really, by mass distributing a Broadway show, recording your own performance, putting it out on a DVD, all you're doing is hyping it up. You're getting people more excited to see the show. Take the Show Company, for instance. The Show Company was revived in 2006, but the DVD wasn't released until 2008. This show won Tonys and was still closed. I am willing to bet that if they had released that DVD shortly after it opened, or maybe when it was nominated for Tony Awards, the show might have lasted a while longer, because it's a good show. And Raul Esparza's in it. Hi. Anything with Raul Esparza in it is going to be gold. I'm convinced. I'm literally convinced of that. Because that kid is an absolute cupcake, and he can sing. Boy, can he sing. And act his ass off too. The one thing about bootlegs that I will never, ever, ever agree with is buying them. I would never pay for a bootleg copy of anything, because it's not yours to sell. It's not yours to buy. Unless the actual production team has put out a copy, it is not yours to buy. You have no right to purchase that show. The purchases need to go to the box office, not to some guy who sat in the third row balcony with his cell phone tucked into his jacket, where he's had to, move it into his pocket every 5 minutes because there's ushers walking around and looking for bootleggers. But this may be an unpopular opinion, especially among some of the Broadway fans. I have talked about this on Twitter threads. I've talked about this on Broadway forums. I don't see anything wrong with watching a bootleg copy of something. I see several things wrong with sitting in an audience and recording a bootleg copy, because I would never do that. That's just a dick move. I mean, not just that, but I'm going to see the live performance, so I'm going to watch the live performance. So if you can reach a wider audience by recording your own performances and selling them, thereby giving the actors the compensation that they are due, the crew the compensation that they are due, and making a little money yourself, all while greatering the chance that your show will stay on Broadway for a while longer, why wouldn't you do that? What do you guys think about bootlegs? Would you watch a bootleg copy of something? Would you not watch a bootleg copy of something? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. No hate. Don't at me. I just learned that phrase. Although, if you disagree, that's perfectly fine. Just, disagree intelligently. What I mean is, don't be a douche. That's all I got for you today, kids. If you like the content today, please be sure to give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button right over there to your right, and ding the little bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video. Be sure to follow me on social media if you are not already. Links are down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.